How's it going everyone, and welcome back to my Battlefield 3 weapon guide video series. After taking a look at all those new close quarters weapons recently, I thought it'd be nice to switch back to one of the standard weapons, and the weapon we're going to look at today is the DAO12, or DAO12 as it's usually pronounced. This weapon's also known as the Armed Cell Striker, and it's a personal defense weapon or shotgun found in Battlefield 3. So let's jump straight into this guide and take a look at some of the DAO12's general stats. I've listed the power as high since it's a shotgun. You can get your kills in just one shot, but like with all the shotguns, the power does depend on the type of ammunition you've chosen in your loadout. Despite being a semi-automatic shotgun, the recoil is actually pretty low. Usually with semi-auto or full auto shotguns, you find that they're balanced by being given substantially higher recoil than the pump actions, but with the DAO12 the recoil doesn't really come into effect unless you're firing off your 5th or 6th shot in a row. One of the best features of the DAO12 is its capacity. It comes out on top with an 8-round magazine. The unique feature about the DAO12 is it's got that kind of cylinder that all the shells fit into to make it kind of a revolver shotgun. This is great in that it allows for a high capacity, but one thing to bear in mind is that if you exhaust the magazine completely, once you've shot off that last shell, your character then has to pull back some spring in order to reload the first round, so it takes a fair while to reload this weapon from empty. But like with all the other shotguns that are reloaded one shell at a time, you can keep this weapon topped up, which helps you stay alive in those hot firefights, unlike the magazine-fed shotguns where you have to wait for that complete animation to play through. And to finish off its stats, the rate of fire of the DAO12 comes in at 200 rounds per minute, but being a semi-automatic shotgun, it all depends on whether your trigger finger is fast enough. I found myself using this weapon just as if it was a pump action shotgun, where I'd fire off one shot hoping for that one shot kill, and then if I realised that I'd not got the kill, I could quickly follow up with a second shot, thanks to it being semi-automatic and not having to wait for the action to be pumped. So out of all the shotguns, the DAO12 is definitely one of the best. It's that high capacitor which really helps this weapon stand out. The main problem with a lot of the shotguns is that you exhaust your magazine after taking out just one or two bad guys. And seeing as with the shotguns you've got that random spread of pellets, you never know how many shots it's going to take to kill someone. Personally, my favourite shotgun in the game is the new SPAS-12, but I think the DAO-12 comes in second place for me. The SPAS-12 just gets the edge because it's pump action and you get that cool authentic feeling when using that weapon, but I guess in terms of competitiveness the DAO-12 probably comes out on top with it being semi-automatic. If you run into a group of bad guys with the SPAS-12, you've got a slow fire rate thanks to that pump action mode, but with the DAO-12 you can just spam out all your shots at once and go on some mega kill sprees. The DAO-12 is another default weapon in the game that's fun to use in those new close quarters maps. Since with a shotgun you're more competitive at close ranges, which makes the DAO-12 and the shotguns as a whole more useful than on those old Rush or Conquest maps. But let's move on and take a look at my recommendations of a configuration of attachments for your DAO-12 in game. The aim sights on this weapon aren't too bad, but there's nothing like an optic just to give you a clearer picture of where you're aiming. You get the reflex red dot sight after just 10 kills, so after playing around with this weapon for just a few minutes, you might as well attach this first unlock. Usually you can just get away with firing this thing from the hip, but for those longer range or medium range engagements, just aiming down sights and using that little red dot on the reflex red dot sight can be pretty handy just to make sure you're lining up your shots exactly. Second up, the number one attachment for the primary slot in my opinion is extended mags. I've already got that high magazine size already, but extended mags is going to increase the capacity from 8 rounds up to 12 rounds, which makes it by far the highest capacity shotgun in the game. The extended mags is another unlock that you get pretty early after just 20 kills. And like we mentioned, with this shotgun being reloaded one shell at a time, with 12 rounds to spare you'll never find yourself with a completely empty magazine and have to sit back somewhere for that full 10-second reload. Then finally, for the ammunition choice for the DAO-12, my preference goes with the 12 gauge flechette rounds. In comparison to the buckshot, the flechette rounds have much higher range and have increased penetration power at the cost of slightly lower damage at close range. But with the DAO-12 being semi-automatic, that close range damage doesn't really matter too much, since you can just fire out your shots in quick succession in comparison to a pump action shotgun. All in all, that increased range and increased penetration power is going to offer you more benefits than plain old buckshot. Unlike other shotguns though, the flechette rounds aren't available as standard, and at the start of the game they were only available for players who had pre-ordered. Earlier this year though, the Physical Warfare pack was released, which included the 12 gauge flechette rounds for the DAO-12, as well as the other additions like the flash suppressor for the SKS, which were previously only available for those pre-ordering customers. If you want to get your hands on the Physical Warfare pack in order to equip flechette rounds on your DAO-12, just head into the store from the Battlefield 3 menus and scroll down and you'll find the physical warfare pack, which you can download, and it'll automatically add these extra attachments for you to use immediately in game. So that's about it for my guide to the DAO-12 in Battlefield 3. Let me know if you're a fan of this weapon or if you've been playing around with those flechette rounds since day one. If you did enjoy my guide or if you learned anything new, please drop me a thumbs up down below just to help spread the word and give my videos overall more widespread exposure. Let me know down in the comments which shotgun from the game is your favourite. Are you like me where you prefer the pump actions and the Spaz 12 in particular, or are you more of a fan of the semi-automatics like the DAO-12, maybe the Sega, or even the USAS 12 with frag rounds? So that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later.